Hi, in this video I'll show you how to make a bell curve. So this is more of a kind of a fun video, not really statistics related. And it's kind of there for you to create a bell curve or normal distribution chart where you can put onto a PowerPoint or you can just kind of put onto a website. So let's see how we do it. So let's pretend that we're thinking of some kind of data like the average IQ of people. Now, this is 100, and we want to create a normally distributed bell curve to kind of show that. I'm here in sheet one. I'm going to delete everything actually. I'm going to delete everything. And the mean, we're going to say the mean, where the top of our bell curve is 100. So right in the middle, that should be at the top. So we have kind of a symmetrical one, right? And so we say our mean is 100 and our standard deviation is going to be 20. We can change this later on, and that will give us an idea of whether or not we want the bell curve to be kind of high and narrow or kind of low and kind of fat. So let's start out with our range of numbers. We're going to start out at 5, and let's go to maybe something like 200 for now. So 5, we'll go to home, click fill, fill series, and my step values are going to be 5. I'll go by 5s. My step value will be 200. My data series is in column, this one column. So click OK, and now we have our column of data. Now to create this particular type of bell curve, we're going to use a statistical function in Excel called normDist. And basically what it does, it returns a normal distribution of a specified mean. We have our mean here and our standard deviation. So just click on that. X is going to be our number here that we're going to provide. That's going to be the X number along the horizontal axis. Our mean is going to be this number. Press the F4 key to lock that in. We don't want it to change as we copy the formula down. Standard deviation is 20. Also press F4 to lock that down. And cumulative, we're going to say no. We don't want to have a cumulative distribution function. We want to use the false, which is the probability mass function. Close parentheses, press enter. Double click the fill handle to bring it down, and we have our data point. This first column is going to be our X, and this is going to be our Y. We're going to create a scatter chart from this. So go to Insert and create a scatter chart, and we're going to have a scatter chart, kind of make it nice and curvy without the markers. And now we have our normal distribution chart, or our bell curve. You can see it's kind of far off here. Let's limit that horizontal axis to maybe 200. Click on that, right click, format axis. Let's limit that to 200. Press enter, close this, and we have a nice little curve. I'm also going to get rid of these grid lines, or the horizontal grid lines. Maybe I don't really need to have the data all the way out here because in a way it's pretty much doesn't go to 0. It goes pretty close to 0, but it doesn't go to 0. So maybe we don't need a series of numbers here. So our standard deviation is 20, so it's going to be 20 each way, 20, 20, 20, 20. So we're going to be down to 40 on this side. So maybe we only need to go up to 30. Delete that, and we'll delete up to 180 here, or maybe up to 160, maybe a little bit more. Let's delete that. No, that's a little bit too much. Maybe up to 170. Delete that. All right. So I can do a little bit more here. And I guess that looks okay, but because this is basically something that we want to create, and we're not looking at this as a statistical tool. We're looking at this as we want to create kind of a nice bell curve to put on a chart somewhere. And if I wanted to make my bell curve a little bit more narrow, what I can do is decrease the standard deviation, make it maybe 10, and it becomes a little bit more narrow. You can see that the standard deviation is kind of decreased. If I want to make this kind of a more flatter bell curve, probably 30 would give it a little bit more flatness, and that doesn't really show it too well. So 20 is actually pretty good, and it'll kind of give this nice little bell curve imagery. And this is something that you can put on a website or you can put on a PowerPoint. So that's the way that we can make a bell curve with a little bit use of a statistical function called norm.dist. So I hope that helps. Thanks for watching.